You can do all of it, like city you're from, when you graduate, who do you want to work with.
Okay, my name is Dante. I graduated class in 2029. I'm from Cincinnati.
Yes.
And true?
Yeah. I was born and raised, and all my graduate schools within 1 hour of Cincinnati.
Dante, class 29 from Cincinnati. And I hope to do like some type of like counseling as far as like hospitalization and then outbreaks working like a school. It's like not necessarily, would it be kind of like macro?
Yeah, you could have a little bit of both, and you're in the right spot, and the master's degree in 1 year will set you up to do any of that. You do all of the above.
That's kind of awesome.
I had a psych major, and it screwed me up because I had to do 2 years and 60 hours of graduate school.
Yeah, I know the social work. My mom, she has like friends who are like social workers, like psychologists, but they set like their own rate throughout, and then they like contract with like the state or throughout like their insurance or whatever the case is, and they just get paid like that, which is like kind of easy. They're like their own boss and like their own practice and stuff.
That's the independent license for sure. Cincinnati, then what high school?
I went to Norwood.
Okay. I was Purcell, Maryland, so we were about a mile away.
Yeah, I used to do this in basketball all the time.
Oh, were they good?
It was, I ain't gonna lie, Purcell was that good.
Really?
They want to see me in track like basketball.
Because we sucked when I went there, but we were good in soccer. That's
Yeah. What's the name? They like switches every year, though. Like it's like much better high school and stuff.
Any other Cincinnatians? None? Damn. All right, who wants to go next?
Janai wants to go. Janai wants to go. No, go back. Like around. I'll go. My name is Honesty. What was the question?
You can do the year you graduate, some fun you did this summer, what you want to do in social work.
My name is Honesty. I graduated 2029. And I'm going to have my own private practice working with most likely just kids. And probably some adults, but I'm not sure yet. I'm really undecided, and I don't even know if I want to stick with social work, but if I do, I do want to get my own private practice and work with kids, and probably like prison. Well, not prison. People who came home, like people who get in jail for a long time and are trying to transition back into the real world.
And what city are you from? Okay, not far. And you're in the perfect spot because, again, us being accredited here, it qualifies you for the 1 year master of social work. The only way to get an independent license and run your own business is with a master of social work and an independent license. So, who wants to go next?
Was that a lunch from East?
Hi, I'm Michaela, graduated class of 28. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. I know I want to work with kids, and I think I'm more set on kids. I'm a person who I've been with one since I was 13. I don't know specifically where exactly I would take this stuff, like what route. I just know who I already have before.
Then, what high school?
I graduated from Fairview Central.
Okay. So, welcome. And you got it. Yes, you are all in the right track. My psych degree, I found out got me nothing without a doctorate. So I had to get my doctorate with psychology. And that pissed me off because I didn't want to get a doctorate. I did end up getting a doctorate. It was in counseling at the University of Cincinnati. My master of social work, all the work was done at University of Kentucky. They have a good program, NKU housing program, UC, Xavier, and Mount St. Joe have a master of social work. So you guys can pick from any of those. I say apply to all of them and see who gives you the most money. Yes.
I have friends that went to like Mount St. Joe. They do get decent scholarships.
Do they?
Yeah, they do actually like.
Damn.
But their tuition is also like up, it's like $50,000.
It's a lot.
Yeah, they give like 20, like 30, and you gotta make up the rest.
That's a lot.
So it's like, it's this scholarship at the same time, it's not.
And that's for the MSW or for just undergraduate?
Just undergraduate.
Okay, okay.
I know CPS is also to go to UC. That's where I'm grading like, your exams.
Okay. Well, that's awesome to hear. Who wants to introduce next? We'll all eventually go, so.
I'm Zion. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I'm more like honestly like I want to do with children and like kind of like private practices, but I kind of want to do more of like the more community side. So like I want to host events and stuff that's like should be for children and like stuff like that.
Awesome. Welcome. I've been to Milwaukee like 1 or 2 times.
Yeah, long but honest.
It's so far, isn't it?
No, these are students. It's like $7.
Okay.
It's not bad.
Why do I think it's more than that? Maybe that was Minneapolis.
It's a time change,
Okay.
so.
Okay. Go ahead.
My name is Delilah G. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. I want to be a criminal psychologist.
Is your major social work?
Oh, no, psychology.
Okay. I always talk people into social work because of my psychology experience. And some, I don't know if they let you do this anymore, you can double major without having to take too many extra classes.
Sorry, I keep talking.
That's okay.
But, with the social work degree, like this pathway, you get a free minor also too, because social work doesn't have enough credits for like you to graduate on its own. So if you minor is like.
That's true.
Like,
That is true.
you get a free one, not just.
We only have 48 hours in the social work major. And, I do have 2 weeks. So you're right, we have like 23 hours of electives you take, and you could get either another major or a minor if you wanted to, for sure. I say social work, and I wish somebody had told me that, because when I graduated, I had to take 60 hours of grad school, twice as long, twice as much money. Nobody told me that. They're like, yeah, do psychology. Psychology is fine. Psychology. We have more psych majors still than we do social.
Yeah, but also too, I don't think people know that. Like,
I know.
I was like applying to like a group of like college rooms and like that, and I'm like, what's my parents are like, yeah, if I want to do psychology. I like how like people's mind work, yes. Social work is more so focused on helping others and like the law and the rules and stuff like that. Like you got to go like out in the handbook and like certain protocols and stuff like that. It's all wisdom you learn that. But like you can do a lot with social work degree, you do a lot more with social work degrees to do psychology things versus just having like your 4-year program in psychology and then you not get to do it back again so many other years of work with actual visualizing schemes.
That's really what people say about me. What's the criminal justice mean?
Criminal justice, like
I'm
counseling.
from like,
But like counseling is also a good one, sociology too. Sociology.
I like psychology more than sociology. I like the individual aspect of it, and social.
Yeah.
Does everyone have access to D2L?
No. It's not even popping up any of my classes for this year.
Okay. Usually you gotta tell like the IT guys and they'll get it going.
Yeah, I gotta do this.
I think it's
And that way you can get the syllabus, because that's what I have right here.
Yeah.
Who wants to go next?
I don't know.
My name is Gloria. I'm from Cleveland.
Really just like, what year do you graduate, what type of social work you want to do, what city, what high school, all that stuff.
Okay, I'm sorry. My name is Gloria. I'm from Cleveland. I would like to work with my children, like family services and stuff like that. I went to Barfield High School, I'm class of 29.
Okay. Welcome. Who's next?
My name is Randy. I'm from Columbus, Ohio. Graduated in 2009. And what I want to do with my degree in social work is I want to be a licensed clinical social worker to help people like live their career.
That's, you're in the right spot. Go ahead.
My name is Aviva. I'm from Detroit. I'm class of 2030. And my name is working with kids and teens. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go.
That's okay. So it sounds like you're in the right spot. So are you a first year?
Yeah.
Did you bring in hours in with you? Did you bring in like extra credit hours?
Yeah.
What do they call them? Are they,
I don't know, for me, it's probably.
that's not good. Our funding is always, canceled. Well. Okay. Who wants to go next? It might be one of you guys.
I'll go next. Hi everyone, my name is Melissa. I'm from Louis, Michigan. I'm class of 29. And what I want to do with my social work degree is become a school social worker.
You're in a good place to do that too. Doing good.
My name is Samashi. I'm class of 29. I'm from psychology. Yeah, I'm working at a team.
How far is Saginaw, Michigan?
4 hours and 30 minutes.
So is it like east side Detroit or the west side?
Saginaw, like, I'm working from Detroit.
Yeah,
Like north of it then, I guess, right?
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
It's like it was a bit like a
We were just up there, just to like swim at the beach, and then the hotel said my kids were too loud and asked us to leave. We'll never forget that vacation. No warning, no nothing. All right, last one. Just introduce year you graduate, high school you went to, what you want to do with your social work degree, like populations you want to work with.
I'm supporting, we are graduating to 2029. I'm gonna work in hospitals for social worker.
That's good money.
Nationwide, children's hospital.
Columbus? Yeah. We have some students that got placed there too. Paid placements too, I think. So,
And my high school is Middlesbrough.
which was it called?
Middlesbrough.
Okay. Cool. Well, anybody that I missed? Nobody? Maybe? Yeah, go ahead.
My name is Terry. I'm from Ohio. Transfer service. I'm in the class of 9 right now, but I plan on working with you.
Awesome. Well, welcome. This is the beginning of one of the classes you guys would take in graduate school if you didn't get a bachelor's in social work at a CSWE accredited university. So I've taught human behavior at both the graduate school level and the undergrad level. But I always tell you guys to look at it as kind of your intro to becoming an independently licensed social worker. Because it is like a grad level class. It is a grade level class. Because we're accredited here, it can be, I think, kind of like your first graduate school class. And then practice are the other three. So you got practice 1, 2, and 3, and then the 2 human behaviors. So that would be 1 semester of your grad school. And then there's also your internship, led by Dr. Jackson, where you could be placed at Nationwide Children's Hospital, I think it is.
So is that the 2 different programs? Like there's another program that we have to go through, and I think we have to do 2 internships, and then after that they can hire us, and then, because it's like through Franklin County and.
Oh, okay, you're referring to the child welfare program that we have.
Okay, yeah.
So we are part of the university partnership program. That is an internship, and you're right, it's broken up into 2 semesters. So you do 200 in the fall and 200 in the spring, whereas most people do 400 in 1 semester. So, and that one does have money attached to it,
Yeah.
to work for Child Protective Services.
Okay.
And Dr. Karen Johnson Jordan is the head of that. Are any of you guys taking her class? When is it? Wednesday?
Monday.
Okay. That is also a good program. We wrote the grant together for that, and it is a paid internship. We don't have many. I never got a paid internship even at grad school level, but we try to find as many as we can for you guys.
Yeah, if y'all are interested, please sign up. There's only 2 of us in that class.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Really? Wait, is that part 1 or part 2?
part 1. But I mean, she can't. They're not gonna cancel her class because it's from the grant. It will hurt
Okay.
the grant.
Yeah. And you're right, to be a part of that paid practicum, you gotta take child welfare 1, child welfare 2, and then do your internship there. So, is it at least $5,000 or $10,000 the day you graduate? There's like a sign-on bonus to get hired at Child Protective Services, and you only owe them a year, not for free. Like they probably hire at $52,000 to $54,000 a year, and like it's good money. So, so you would look at this like your graduate school, and the syllabus is all accessible through here. It kind of looks different when I do it here, so I almost want to show you guys what it looks like over here. So the major assignments, we start out with what's called the genogram, and both the ecomap and, well, it's also known as the culturegram, but culturegram is almost like the, I'm trying to think of the description for it. It's like a family tree. Has anybody ever done a family tree before? And that way we get to find out like all the things we inherited from our family, both good inheritance and bad inheritance. And I'll show you guys how to make it on the following class. I really just wanted to introduce you to our major assignments for this class. So after the ecomap and genogram, we are going to start at pregnancy, birth, and the newborn. So this is usually the way that I start a lot of these classes. Let's see here. Has anybody taken social work research yet?
Do you need a specific notebook for your class?
No. Do some classes make you guys take that?
Yeah.
Oh, really? Like a 5 subject or something?
No, it's like I can probably split one notebook, like if I'm taking notes for your class and another class, but then she has a notebook assignment, so I need a separate notebook to like give to her.
Is that, what's the name of that class?
Social welfare, she's done all classes, social work, social welfare.
Is that Sonia Hunt, or who teaches that? Gifty? Everything you do for me can be turned in on D2L. So all of the assignments, and we'll start with a blank slate. But the first one, and I told you we'll go over it on Tuesday, but it's called the genogram. And it's going back to your family of origin and locating. I always give you guys 2 weeks to do stuff, so you'll have 2 weeks. And you can turn in a picture. Because some people choose to draw it, they do have like software that they'll sell you. So the genogram, and just kind of understanding how all of the things we were brought up with in life, including our genetics, affect how we behave later on in life. So it could be, for example, if there is any mental health in your family, if there's any challenges with ADHD, dyslexia, learning disabilities, a lot of times those can be passed on. But all the different challenges that we see growing up. So the fun part is on Ashford chapter 3 or 4, that's infancy. I'm going to start with pregnancy. So I know a lot of us know how to do pregnancy, and the details of it were, I had 4 kids in my first 4.5 years of marriage. And that's because I'm an old man. I'll be 50 in about 1.5 years. So I have my 1-year-old will graduate high school when I turn 65. I'll be real old then. So I don't know if anybody has parents that old, but it happens. The old chair of our department, Perdomo, had his baby when he turned 53. So I guess he'll be 71 when she finishes high school. So it incentivizes you to stay healthy. My wife just turned 40. I think his turned 40 last year. So that's generally the window. There are women getting pregnant at 45 and 50. You don't see it as often. You hear about it, but you don't see it as often. One of the things that was helpful when we were, we weren't even sure if we could have freaking kids. Well, it turns out we can. We had 4.2 years. It was insane. And they're still cute as hell and annoying as hell. So they're a little bit of both. Like I said, they had us kicked out of that hotel. I'm trying to see if I can find our freaking. But yeah, that was the hotel we were at, and that was our dinner. But you try to corral 4 kids that age, it sucks. But you have to do something to keep them interested. So what it looks like for us though was exactly the way they described here. And it's so does anybody have anyone they know close to them that has had a baby, gotten pregnant, or currently pregnant? Yes.
One of my friends that I graduated high school with, he was supposed to go to UC for business, but the senior year, our senior year, towards graduation, he found out he got like really pregnant. And then that summer, he was doing dad things the entire time. Well, we did our summer graduation stuff, of course, grad parties, pictures, all that. But then once everybody went away, he was just there.
When was the baby due? In the summer?
It wasn't due in the summer. I think she probably had I don't know. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
We graduated in May.
Yeah.
We graduated in May. So probably a couple months after August. October. October, November.
So the most important thing that we needed to know for us, well, for one, anybody ever heard of an ectopic pregnancy? Do you know how to describe that to everybody, what that is?
You said the top.
Ectopic.
It doesn't mean you have a baby, but it's means.
Yep. So it would attach right here. And that can be dangerous and life-threatening. It's supposed to attach out here. So one thing that was important, because I was always like, how in the hell is there 40 weeks of pregnancy? Because don't you only stay pregnant 9 months? 40 weeks would be 10 months, right? It's because they measure the first 2 weeks. So the fertilization happens. They count week 1 and 2. You have your period, then you got week 1 and 2. So really, you're starting at week 3 when you're fertilized. That's why they do it that way. So that was an important thing to get out of the way that confused the hell out of me. If you do anything about math, and the sperm can live within inside of the area for 4, 5, 6, 7 days. That's why they say there's like a 9, 10-day window where if you want to have a baby, you want to focus on those 10 days. You want to have sex, then skip a day or two, so you actually have to rebuild sperm and then have a baby. Those who don't want to have a baby, there's 20 days you can't get pregnant. The hard part is deciphering exactly when that is, you know what I mean? So that's why, obviously, there's different forms of contraception. There's abortion, there's condoms, there's things of that nature. Some people do the pull and pray method. They make fun of it, the Catholic method, where like, you know when the cycle begins and know when it ends and know the 10 days that you can get pregnant. So if you want to get pregnant, you can free for all. But if you don't want to get pregnant, you avoid those 10 days. So the zygote is the fertilized ovum and it plants in the uterine lining. If it attaches right here, you're in trouble because that could be death for the mother. That's why they talk about ectopic pregnancy. And so really quickly, you start, it divides cells. In 3 days, you're at 32 cells. Continued cell division, 4 or 5 days, and it attaches into the uterus. The period is when your uterus sheds the uterine lining. So like the whole uterine lining is the blood that comes out. And that sometimes if the egg is fertilized and you have the fertilization there and you have your period, that happens more often in older women because they don't have enough of the progesterone. You can lose the baby that way. 90% of pregnancies are lost in the first 3 months. So the embryo is 2 to 7 weeks. Like I said, the first 2 weeks, there's not even fertilization. But fertilization would occur the very last day of that week 2. The baby is 90% formed then. So the basic structures are in place. It's a critical period. The embryo is most vulnerable to the environment then. Like I said, most miscarriages happen in the first trimester, so that's like weeks, really 2 through 12. Then the fetus is from week 8 through 40, so that's when you have refinement and growth. In the last 2 months, it stores a lot of fat. In fact, the baby gains about a pound every week in the last few weeks there. Then at 24 weeks, it has a chance of survival outside the womb. This year, there's been a few babies that have survived at 21 weeks and 22 weeks. So it's getting like better, you know, like they're freaking like that big. They put them in like little blue lights. Anybody ever seen a premature baby come out? It's crazy. Because they put them under like the light that usually it's the lungs that develop last. So that's why you want them to stay in up to here. And that would be early. So at 37 weeks or 38 weeks, we got induced for our second, third baby, because at 39 weeks, it starts getting painful. It weighs 8 pounds, so I don't know if you guys have ever carried around like an 8-pound ball. They have little straps that they can help with, but it gets painful. Obviously, people have done this for 2,000 years or 2 million, you know, however long humans have been around. The recorded history since way a long time ago. And then if you're at 10 months pregnant, that's past term. That's extremely painful. So placenta is one of the things that it's where small molecules pass between mother and embryo. That's like how the baby is fed. Some people keep that placenta. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but like different cultures and different tribes, they even try to save the placenta, dried capsules, and take it as like a multivitamin because it has has iron in it, it has stuff. It has stem cells, so a lot of people save it at the hospital nowadays, which you're allowed to do. I looked up some, I don't know what AI says now, but it's like a placenta's worth $10,000, $20,000, $30,000. So most people don't want to deal with it. Obviously, it's like a bloody bag that comes out after the baby's born and then attached to the placenta. The umbilical cord connects the embryo to the placenta. And then the amnion bag is like the big float of water that the baby's inside of. And that, when we had our first baby, she was early because that broke. And like the water was slowly leaking out. And you need to have that when you have the baby. So here's kind of your stage of development. Again, embryos 2 to 7 weeks, 90% is formed. Your critical period is where the embryo is most vulnerable to the environment. Those first 2 months of pregnancy, definitely the first 3. The fetus is 8 to 40 weeks. At 24 weeks, they can survive outside the womb. And then term pregnancy is lungs start fully developing at 37, 38 weeks. They are fully developed at 38, 39 weeks. And if you go this long, you might want to get induced because the baby weighs a lot. It could be like 6, 7, 8 pounds. Anybody have anything to add to the baby stuff? Did that cover it well, or?
Yeah, pretty well.
Anybody know how many kids per couple we average in America? About. That would be perfect because 2.1 is replacement. 2.1 kids per couple. We're right now at 1.6 kids per couple. Which means there's a population decline in the Western world. Like America and Europe is even worse. They're like 1.3 or 1.4 kids per couple. So that means 60% of people are having 2 kids, but 40% of people are having 1 kid. And it's not replacing both the male and the female. Has anybody heard that like in China, there are 30 million women short? So there's 30 million more men in China than there are women. And then India also has 25 or 29 million women short. Anybody know why that would be? Because it's usually 50-50 almost, you know what I mean? Like you're not going to have more boys than girls all the time. So there's a bunch of articles on that, and they, for a while, China had a one-child policy, and if they only had 1 child, what child do you think that they chose to have? Yeah, usually. Why then? Why do you think they chose to have a boy? Often property rights and stuff. Like inheritance, they would give child number 1 the most of it. India is similar. So there's a lot of stories and movies and documentaries about that if you're interested. It is crazy. I don't think it's ever happened until the modern day since 1971 until now. So it's a new phenomenon that's come up kind of against the natural law. Any questions? We mentioned some of the birth control options. One is abortion. It's the spontaneous induced ending of pregnancy. So 75% of abortions occur in the first 12 weeks. They're not all vaginal bleeding is a miscarriage. As a social worker, we would play a supportive role, separate personnel from professional value. We separate personal from professional values, and that women have less regret and emotional problems when the choice is not forced. So here's some of the stages of labor also. So when you go in to have the baby, they want you to have, the cervix has to be at 4 centimeters. They turn you away, even if you're like having the contractions, they're like, nope, you're not at 4 centimeters, you gotta go. 10 would be more like that. I think 4 is kind of like that. And they're like, nope, you gotta go home until you're 4. If you're not at 4 centimeters for the baby, able to get out, go home. The second part of labor takes from 10 minutes to 3 hours. And that's when the baby's delivered. So you reach 10 centimeters. They had me like hold the leg and then count 1, 2, 3. And then she would have to push right when the contraction was happening. And then the third trimester is 5 to 30 minutes afterwards. The placenta's then delivered. That they ask you if you want to keep it or not. It's your choice. And then the fourth stage of labor is 1 to 3 hours. That's what they call skin on skin. And then the recovery. It's the golden hour. Critical for bonding, growth, and development of the baby. So they have both the mom and the dad hold. And they keep all the like good bacteria all over the baby. So it's all over its head, and they found good research that if you keep that good bacteria on them, they're healthier going in. They say don't wash them for like 24 hours because you want all the good bacteria. Some of them say keep this attached as long as you can. They don't still do that, but there's so much like transfer of nutrients and placenta that you do want to keep it attached. They had me cut it. It was weird. It's just like cutting through skin. They're like, hey, you want to cut the umbilical cord? So I did. So yeah, most of ours were, I think our first was 6, our second weighed 7, our third weighed 8, and I think our fourth weighed 8.5. So they get bigger sometimes, because the womb stretches out a bit. They take their Apgar scale 1 minute after birth. They check the heart rate, the breathing, because a lot of times they got a bunch of mucus blocking, and they got to suck that out. They'll even do like the reflexes, the muscle tone, color. The score is like 7 to 10 is good, 5 to 7 is poor. It might be like medical necessity. 0 to 4 could be like a neurological defect. So I don't want to cruise through that too fast. Any questions so far? Because my goal is to get you guys introduced in your syllabus and the first assignment. Ooh, that's what I just thought of. So the genogram actually is good over here. And I'll see if I can get it to play for you. Or come. Like how to make the genogram.
Today we're going through how to do a basic genogram. These can be very confusing at first, but once you get the hang of it, it's very straightforward and can be done very.
The reason we do these is because, as some of you mentioned, wanting to work in private practice, when we assess our clients, we ask all of these questions like from birth until now. Like, how was your childhood? What was the development? What runs in your family? What's genetic? What's this and that? And from there, help make the assessment on them. So in social work school, we learn how to make a genogram of ourselves. Like, what was my childhood like? What neighborhood did I grow up in? What was the genetics that I inherited from the family? And what do I have to look forward to? What do I have to look forward to prevent? So if we do the genogram on ourselves, we can then do it with our clients. That's why we have you guys make it.
The thing to always remember is that people don't exist in isolation. So thinking of a patient, particularly children, as part of the family system is very important, especially when considering how they may fare outside of the hospital environment. And it's always important to try to get information of at least 3 generations worth of data for a family. First things first, identify if the patient is male or female or other. Here we have a patient that is female, and the larger size and double line of this symbol indicates that they are the patient. The numbers within the symbols represent the age of the patient. Branching upward, we have the genetic parents. We also have their ages listed, and on downward stems we have the birth dates for quick reference. And then here we have a younger sibling, also branching off the parents' shared stem there. Then, of course, in terms of ongoing relationships, we need to know if the parents are still together, separated, reconciled, or living together. As you can see, there are annotations on the shared line that show the chronology of the parents' relationship. Here we have a double line that represents the divorce between the genetic parents. Now we have an adjunct drawn on that represents a new family. The father now has a new partner, living together since 2010. And they also have a daughter that is 3 years old. As you can see, the symbols are very consistent in how they are arranged between families. But then, of course, it's very useful to have the third generation to give a better indication of patterns of behaviour and things of note that have occurred in families generationally. Here we have a half-shaded cell.
So when you guys are doing this, I'm okay with you hand drawing them and snapping a photo to put into D2L. If I did mine, this is what it looked like. I have 2 brothers and 2 sisters. You could put just the ages. Like I know my brother's 51, the other one's 46, my sister's 40, and then my other sister is 55. Something crazy. My mom had 4 sisters, and well, it's 4 boys and 4 girls in her family. My dad was 4, and sisters 2 males. And if you want to do your next generation, either say their kids or up there, like their parents and their kids, just to see. I definitely had mental illness and alcoholism on both sides of the family, so that was something that came up. If, say, you're a first generation college student, you could put that in there. If there's ADHD that runs in the family, you could put that in there. If there's alcoholism or addiction, you see these symbols too. They have married, separated, or divorced. I would be the only one in my family that had gotten a divorce. So I could put that symbol. I married somebody who was adopted from India, and we were married about 5 years. And she got a really cool job and didn't want to have kids anymore, and I kind of did, and we were amicable. We just kind of went. She was able to work. I restarted everything at 42. That's why I have kids so late. And so putting that part in, divorce or reconciliation, and then I'll finish this and put it there for you guys to see for when you do the assignment.
And our grandfather's symbol, that can represent physical or psychological illness. Here we have an annotation of BPAD, which represents a bipolar affective disorder, which can be particularly important if you want to see trends in families, particularly where there is a genetic component of any condition. And then how relationships are represented. The zigzag line shared between the paternal grandparents signifies a hostile relationship. Meanwhile, a relationship with an endpoint arrow represents that a person is particularly focused on another person. So here the mother is particularly focused on the younger brother. An X over a symbol denotes whether or not a person is deceased. It can also be useful if available to include the cause. Of course, it's always good to know where your patient resides. Larger circles encompassing the symbols represent households. Here they live with the mother and her parents, which can be important to consider when assessing the level of support they have at home. It's also very important to have some characteristics of your patient available for quick reference. Here.
So here's some other symbols you can do: colors or highlight it if there's any abuse, loss, grief, recent change, also illness, low income, or even low education.
Side of the genogram, we list their top 3 stressors and vulnerabilities. Stressors being acute type changes that may have precipitated the admission, while the vulnerabilities are more long-standing issues that may perpetuate admissions. So I hope that's been helpful. In terms of just representing the patient's family quickly and efficiently, this is probably all you need. So thanks for your time and all the best.
All right, any questions on how to make that genogram? We'll go over it more on Tuesday, but that is not due to 2 days. That's the first assignment. That's all I have for now, unless you guys have questions. Make sure to sign in because they won't give out student loans unless if that's all signed. What's that?
Question.
You know what's your So if you email her, I know she's here. Her email should be njackson.
Okay, and then what's our, how do I access our whole?
You said our number?
Yeah.
It's on that D2L. So it looks like this. You may need IT out here to get into there. It's really like Kentucky State, they have Canvas down there.
Yeah, we use Canvas.
So it's similar to Canvas, it's just called D2L.
So is it like an app?
I've been told it was called the Pulse app, and we have the same. You have the Pulse app with your, but you can't get into D2L. How do you sign into it?
I was a link that was sent to my email. That's
Okay.
right.
I think it is called.
But see, you might not have gotten it, about the name of the freshman.
If you go to IT, they're in the basement of that like president's building. They can get you all set up. It's like Newsom, I think. Like the main one that has like money and cash management and IT.
Okay.
And
It's
maybe
behind
some-
the road. So if you
Yeah, it is behind the roads and all.
if you go to the tubes and you go down the hallway, not the hallway, down the sidewalk. Go by that parking lot area, it's one of them.